Let's check in with Joseph Lindsley in Ukraine.
Easter here in Lviv in particular, the Greek Catholic city, is a window into Ukrainian culture in these very dark and very sort of ominous days.
Little Joe Lindsley.
Joe Lindsley is quickly becoming an American treasure in broadcasting.
Welcome to Ukraine Bank.
I saw your post over the weekend, Joe, that read, on May the 4th, many say, may the 4th be with you, as a nod to Star Wars. Meanwhile, in Ukraine, people wake up to the voice of Luke Skywalker telling everyone to get to shelter, while an actual Star Wars happens over our heads. Was that happening this weekend?
Not where I was in the mountains, and then I was traveling to Lviv, but indeed, our team, our Ukrainian Freedom News team, made a little video for that May the 4th be with you sort of holiday for Star Wars fans. And indeed, on the English language version of Ukraine's Air Raid Alert app, one of the apps is created by Ukrainian tech innovators. It is the voice of Mark Hamill, who's been a great supporter of Ukraine, the actor who played Luke Skywalker. He's raised a lot of money to buy drones for Ukraine. And so if you have the English language version of the app, when the alarm goes off, you hear Luke Skywalker saying, I forget, it's some kind of wisdom you would hear from Yoda saying, don't be cautious. Overconfidence is your weakness. And it might sound like a gimmick, but it's a good reminder, especially if you are in a place like, say, Kharkiv, where, I spend a lot of time and you just get used to it. But if you get too complacent, it can be serious consequences, as we saw yesterday. Yesterday was Easter Sunday throughout Ukraine, for whether they're for Orthodox people, for Catholics, and for evangelicals. And, Russia claims to be this great holy nation. The Russian patriarch in Moscow, who's really a puppet of Putin, has declared this to be a holy war. And they showed their true colors yesterday. They attacked many places throughout Ukraine, including they sent missiles and drones into the center of Kharkiv city in the afternoon. They hit, among other places, there was a house where people had gathered for an Easter liturgy in the afternoon. That was destroyed. And I was reading the Kharkiv alerts while I was here in Lviv. And at 2:17 p.m., the city was bombed. And the warning said, more on the way. That very chilling idea. You've already gone through several bombs, and now more are coming. So it was a very difficult day in Kharkiv city on Easter Sunday. And a reminder of, for Ukrainians, this is a struggle of good versus evil. I came back from the mountains to Lviv to be here to see this holiday. It's such I think it's maybe one of the best windows into Ukrainian culture and Ukrainian identity. And so with our video crew from Ukrainian Freedom News, we went around the city of Lviv yesterday. And here there was no air raid alarms. It was a calm day. And, as you go through this the cobble streets, this ancient 1,000-year-old city of Lviv, almost everyone is dressed in the traditional veshivanka, which is the embroidered garments. The men wear shirts, the women wear dresses, men, women, and children, everyone in their traditional costume. Many people carrying these Easter baskets. All of them have a candle sticking out of it with a cloth, and underneath the cloth is sausage and Easter cakes and cheese and horseradish. And everyone participates fully in this. It's not a curiosity. And they have very elaborately painted eggs that people have spent, hours and days making. You sort of look at it and appreciate it, and then you eat the egg, and all that artistry goes away. But it's this moment of really deep connection to Ukrainian culture. The churches, and in Lviv, there's a church almost every block, and the churches were packed with civilians and soldiers, and everyone singing this chorus of Christ is risen, Christos vos Kres. And in fact, starting yesterday for the next few weeks, people do not say hello or good morning, dobry ranek or dobry din, good afternoon. The only greeting is Christos vos Kres, which means Christ is risen. And when someone says that to you, you respond with voyistunu vos Kres, he is risen indeed. And so really, it's really this, you see a strong culture in a way that I haven't seen anywhere else in Europe even. And this is all what's under threat. And then after sort of the morning, everyone is in the churches, and many people make their way to this large park in the city. It's sort of a folk park. It has many old Ukrainian-styled houses and churches within it, deep in this forest. And it's really a bizarre scene. You go into this forest, and everywhere where there's a clearing in the trees or some kind of field, you see adults and children alike dancing in big circles, everyone wearing their traditional costumes. You do see people walking, missing a leg, which is a common sight. But other than that, you see this spirit of, this ancient spirit of festivity, kids climbing up maypoles, people in dancing, opposing each other, different lines in this strange ritual. They're singing joyfully, and then they start trying to rush each other and attack the other line, all the while everyone is laughing. It's extraordinary scene of a culture that's they preserved for thousands of years. And then I was sort of just following this with our team, and a group of 100 or so left one of these dances in the forest, and they went deeper into the forest, and it was almost like some strange dream. There was a long, narrow table, maybe like 6 large tables back to back, laid out in a clearing and covered with all kinds of food: sausage, cakes, horseradish, cheeses, and it's just brought the food to share. And so everyone just, to take some food, and there's still plenty of leftovers, and there's no police. There's no one's charging anyone. There's no crime. There's no problems. It's just this atmosphere of joy. And amazingly, at the end of the table was a station of homemade spirits, samahanka, with gigantic jars. Who knows who made it? And everyone's, there's no one checking ID or anything, and because it doesn't matter here. And everyone's pouring just a little bit of the shot, and there's still some left over. And then people start to sing these chants: "Christ is risen, Christos voskres." And it's, you see the hospitality, the culture, the unity, and knowing that for many people this could be their last. I mean, the things are extremely dire at the front line, and especially more and more Ukrainian men are preparing for having to go fight, to be conscripted. Many people have already lost loved ones. And I was talking with a girl who she's an IT worker, and she sings in a choir and is fully celebrating Easter. But she, a few days ago, had gone on a mission to Donbass and Zaporizhia, to the east and the south, to very dangerous places. She heard a lot of shelling, and she was bringing not only military supplies but also Easter cakes to the soldiers of the front line. And amid all this joy and singing, she looked at me. She wasn't crying, but just sort of this fierceness in her eyes, saying how really bad and difficult it is at the front. Roads that I used to travel in Donbass have been closed because the Russians are moving in, and in some areas. And so we see it's very intense emotions and feelings. It's deep celebration, knowing that so much of this could be lost. And in one of the churches I went into, some friends were explaining, during the penitential season before Easter, the Greek Catholics, they cover the art up in the church, but it's still covered now, even though it's Easter, when you're supposed to uncover it, because they're trying to protect it, and, some small chance of protecting it from incoming missiles. And so that is, I think Easter here in Lviv in particular, the Greek Catholic city, is a window into Ukrainian culture in these very dark and very sort of ominous days.
Amazing. We are constantly amazed by the spirit of the people there in the middle of this brutal war. And it sounds like the festivities there feature food a lot better than what we have in the studio here. We're eating Pop-Tarts this morning, Joe. But I'm glad that you can laugh a little bit and get a little R&R in the face of that war. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you.
One day I'll bring some Ukrainian spirits to Chicago until tomorrow.
Thank you for introducing Ukraine on your social media pages. That's very important that much more people can get more information about the situation here and how everybody can help Ukraine to stay stronger and to save all the world.
Что он сказал?
Well, which side are you on?
На чьей ты стороне?
Come on now. Oh, which side are you on?
На чьей ты стороне?